Western Railway officials have written to the civic body, asking it to lay utility cables under the tracks wherever possible and not overload the aging bridges. The BMC had earlier denied that it had anything to do with the utility cables buried in the bridge upon discovering that at least 60 utility cables had been laid along the collapsed portion of the Andheri Road overbridge. Western Railway authorities have written to the civic body on the matter. The collective weight of so many utility cables may have contributed to the collapse of the bridge. We have written to the BMC to look into limiting the number of utility cables laid over such bridges, said Mukul Jain, Divisional Railway Manager. Ad choice advertising and red invented by T's many utility companies opt to lay wires along bridges, as this is easier and cheaper than putting them under the railway lines, which would require micro-tunneling. The utility companies pay a fee to the BMC for this arrangement, which is also less than the charge levied by the railways. It is not that the railways do not allow utility cables to pass under the network, but besides levying fees, there are stringent norms in national rail standards for how this should be done, said Dr. Jain. Officials audit the Andheri Road, which is set to reopen by today. Prima facie, it seems that the weight of over 60 utility cables may have added up the dead weight and led to the collapse of the pedestrian pathway along the corroded Andheri Road. The bridge, built in 1978, was later expanded to include a pathway a year later. According to Jain, around a year ago, WR had conducted a survey to identify such cables that pass from one building terrace to another, crossing over railway tracks. The authorities found 45 such cables between Churchgate and Vera, and immediately disconnected them. The other side, despite repeated attempts to reach out to BMC officials for comment, they remained tight-lipped on the matter. However, earlier, Chief Engineer for Bridges Sopori had told Midday, whenever utility agencies ask the BMC for permission to carry out any work at railway premises, we always direct them to the railways. 60 approximately number of utility cables on the pedestrian pathway of the Andheri Road. 45 number of cable connections passing over tracks that WR cut. Also read, Andheri Bridge collapse. BMC, railways decide to, sincerely, coordinate.